is probably Sweden's biggest food lover. He is officially now the best dressed man in Sweden since a couple of weeks. He is also one of the biggest music lovers in Sweden and one of the biggest artists. And he returns to the Eurovision Song Contest with new music that Europe has just heard live already, and now joined here by us by Benjamin Ingrosso.
Thanks for having me. Hi there.
How does it feel to hear like the fact that you're known for so many different things? You love food, you love fashion, you love music. It's not just that you're like, oh, you're a singer.
I love that because as a kid and as like my entire life, I've been a fan of different things. I grew up in an Italian family with, my father running a few restaurants. So for me, food is like passion number one. And then music, of course, because I grew up with music and everything. So I'm just glad that I'm actually a bit famous for that, because it's like, every single artist that I know and that I'm friends with, they always text me when they're in different countries wanting to go to different restaurants because they like have faith in me that my choices are the best, kind of. So I'm like a food guide to all my colleagues.
How do you find the best restaurants?
I have like a technique on Instagram that I search for. If I'm going to for an example, Madrid, I search for Madrid food. And then I come to like this like page, Madrid food lover kind of thing, which is usually a bit like kind of famous, but they always go to like the most popular places. And then I see one follower or one post that is like more of a indie food guy, kind of. So I start following that person, and then I can see all the like hidden gems. And then I start following, it's like going from one person to another. And then actually just running around the city. And when I'm in a city and I go to this restaurant, I always ask the chefs, like, okay, where can I find places like these? Or like similar wine bars and stuff like that.
Amazing. And of course, you've just been all around Europe. Because
yeah.
You've just done an amazing live tour. I was at the show in Amsterdam. And you were able to premiere new music before it actually is released.
Exactly, yeah.
Was that important to you to first bring it to Europe live? And of course, Sweden heard a lot of stuff last year. They'll be hearing it later this year. Was it important for you to do it live before they hear the record?
100%. It was also a way of trying to like see if the songs were working. I mean, there's some of the songs that I performed that I went back into the studio and like tweaked, and I will go back into the studio this summer to like finish the songs and see if actually one of the songs that I performed on this tour was not supposed to be on the album, but then I changed my mind because it really worked on the audience. So it's a way of like working, like you're working with TikTok and Instagram about like how you release songs. Or tease songs. This is the same, but we just do it like live and organic in a way. And it was of course very scary to perform 80% new songs, so my audience couldn't sing along, but I found a way to make them sing along. And then thanks to TikTok and Instagram, people after I think the fifth or the sixth show, people were starting to sing along to the unreleased songs, which was insane.
Yeah, I was at the Amsterdam show, which was number 2 on the European tour. And I was getting requests all over Europe and Sweden going like, hey, what is this song called? What is this? Can you give us the chorus for this and that? It feels like with this new music you're bringing out, because we've been waiting for some English stuff for a while. We've had Kite, we've now had Better Days, Honey Boy is a collaboration, but it feels like you're deliberately going with a sound where we can hear the actual instruments
100%
in a landscape that is very electronic. Why did you make that choice?
I think I made that choice because I've always wanted to do an album or music like that, but I've never had the time or like the opportunity to work with these producers that I'm working with now. And also I did the Swedish album that was very organic and sounded very like old school, and for the first time in my life, people came up to me and was like, this sounds like you. And it is, because I grew up with music like that sounded like that. So I think this first album for the new like chapter in my career will sound very much like the music that I grew up with. And then, of course, the next album will sound a bit different. But I think it was important for me to make a full album that was cohesive, so that it's very clear that when I release the singles after the other, that it sounds like the same artist. Because all my English songs has been very like, because we've never had the time to actually sit down and focus on, okay, what's the first one, what's the second one. So there's always been like, okay, now we released like a trap song, and then like, you know, because I have ADHD, so I love all kinds of music.
Same here.
But when I started to like dive into my library of music, I was like, okay, in Swedish I know exactly what I'm gonna do, but in English, what makes me sound like Benjamin Ingrosso and not just like a regular pop guy singing a pop song? Because usually when I release my music, I can hear Justin Bieber on this song. I can hear, not that it's that good, but I mean, I could hear his voice. But now when I started like listening to the new songs, I was like, I can't really hear another person singing these songs. And that's when I found my sound, kind of. And it is more quirky and more rough and more organic and more fun, I think. Like, I mean, Kite is like, you know, it could be so easy. It's very fun. Yeah, and the Honey Boy is like, when I was young, I never danced, we never danced. It's like you can't really play the melodies on the piano, and that's what I love. It's more like talking.
Do you feel pressure sometimes when you go like, oh my God, I like, you've just been given an award for best rap band in Sweden.
100%.
You must get pressure.
Yeah, I mean, every day. But also it's like, I think now I have, my wardrobe is pretty sick.
How big is that wardrobe?
It's a big one now.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I also have like my own little store in my apartment, where Dennis comes and he hangs up the outfits for the week and stuff. It's like I'm spoiled as hell.
Nice. Of course, now we are waiting for that album, but you're going on tour in Sweden.
Yes, yeah, and in Scandinavia.
Yeah. And then afterwards, I've seen the show. This show with that band and that new music belongs on major festival stages.
That's the goal.
Your next goal?
100%. That's our next goal. And I mean, this summer, to all of you who didn't see the Europe tour was very small venues and very much like intimate rock and roll. This will be like extra everything. We will be 12 people on stage.
Wow.
And I will have one of the coolest sets on stage, and it looks fantastic, and we're gonna give you fireworks and, you know, the best freaking show that you can ever imagine to see. That's my goal, at least.
I can't wait.
So it's something totally different from what you saw.
So basically, Europe has to come to Scandinavia this summer and see
100%.
it. But I think most of the shows will sold out anyway.
No, there's some few tickets left. Yeah.
And then, of course, I want to finally answer this question with you. You've put so many hidden things in all these new songs.
Yeah.
We know there's the thunderstruck chords and everything in there. Is there something people haven't found in the songs that have been released? Like a little joy and fun. Can you spoil one of those?
I can't. I don't want to get like. I don't want to get in a bad situation here, but I mean, Honey Boy is about a woman that if you like search in Google and stuff, you can find who it is about. Okay. And then I also had the pre-chorus was, I kind of took it from an old Toto song.
Ooh,
but then I changed, so it's not too similar. But if you like dive into the song, you can find where I stole it from.
Yeah. And can you imagine that in 20 years' time?
Yeah.
People will do that with your songs, Benjamin, and we'll see.
I hope so. That's my dream.
And people will see that tomorrow night. Europe will be enjoying 7 minutes of the new vision of Benjamin Ingrosso. A new reintroduction back into Europe.
Yes.
And I'm so excited
I can't wait
to get back into it. Benjamin, thank you so much for spending some time for us. And we're going to be partying tomorrow with you. We're going to be in the audience. We're going to I'm going to be singing along, and it's going to be an amazing time.
I can't wait.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.